Hey everybody, we're back. Just getting myself situated. Let me get the chat up on my phone since I know that it doesn't really want to show it sometimes. Okie doke. Put the chat in the corner. Hey everybody, how's it going? So thank you for following along so far on this stream. We're nearly done with the line art aspect. So let's just keep on going. Next to do is this water tank in the back here. Now, I have not been labeling these. It's going to make this color a poopy brown to symbolize brick. And then that looks like a free one. So I'm going to start labeling them so I don't get lost in all the folders. Water tower. There you go. Just double check. It's not something little. Nope. Good. Cool. Pen back up. Alright, now let's draw ourselves a water tower. Again, this is something I'll do. I'm going to keep the smooth brush on, but I'm going to try and keep this looking pretty rocky and gruesome. If you're watching these streams and you always miss them, make sure you click, when you click subscribe, there's a little bell icon, and it should, if you click it properly, you should be able to get email notifications for when I actually go live with the stuff. Shown some lines here that these are broken up like this. Separate those. Can't be New York City without a water tower, right? So I've been to New York City tons of times over my life. And you really only see them if you're up high, otherwise you never notice them. But they are there. To me, it's like a classic staple. You know what city you're in. Now, I was thinking of adding lots of wood texture, but I might just add a subtle amount. Now, I'm not using any reference, I'm just sort of making up a water tower. So, let's turn that into a shape. Size 2 outline. Boom. Oh wait. This has been used. That's okay, I don't think this made... I just made this a bit thicker down here. Let's erase those lines. Actually, let's erase just one of them. Yeah, we'll erase both. And now let's turn this back on, our perspective ruler. And let's get a... oh, we don't want to do it this one. Oh, someone just commented on an old YouTube video of mine. Straight line for this. So let's shrink this down to 3. Boom. Going to erase this line up here. I don't like the way it looks. Looks better, and then we're going to make a new layer, and we're going to do the back part of this railing bit. And we might add a ladder, I don't know, we'll see. We might add a happy little ladder. Could keep that black, but let's see how it looks. It's my dog chewing on a bone next to me, which he wasn't doing, but now I've started the stream. That looks way convoluted, so let's back up. Maybe we'll just stick with that. Just needed to look like a, you know, an industrial sort of piece below it. Now we got to build a little rooftop next door. Dog just choked on her bone. This is lovely to hear, I'm sure. And then in the foreground, we're going to put a line there. My dog just farted because it stinks. Thank you, Luna. It smells divine. square in the front. Something, you know, these roofs, they have little squares on top of them, extra additions and stuff like that. And anything else I want to add there? I realised actually, I don't know how well I can fix this, but I'm going to try. This is not turning the right way. I'm trying to free transform it. I think that perspective's fine. You're not going to notice it too much. And let's just make a new layer. And let's doodle in a tiny bit of wood texture. Not too much though. Because I don't want it to fill... unlike the wood on that pole there, where it's super easy to see on his kendo stick, Donnie's kendo stick, we're going to just add a few wood lines. I feel like Bob Ross right now. Some happy little wood lines. If you hear coughing in the background, it's my fiance. She's at home sick. And I'm trying to stay as far away from her as possible because I'm seeing Black Panther this weekend and I do not want to be sick for that. That's good. That's a good level of texture. Again, not too much. Don't want it to overpower. I will add a lot in this bit here to show that there's not much sun coming through, because from afar it will be grey. It will look grey. Ow, Luna. She's doing that thing where she chews the bone next to my foot. Right, so let's now add as much detail as we would on the kendo stick. And then when you zoom out, you see how it sort of sticks out as being a bit grey. So that's that roof bit. And now all we have to do is the background buildings, which should be, hopefully, famous last words, fairly easy to do, but we'll have a look. So these are my skyscrapers I'm creating. Actually, you know what we should do is, I'm going to experiment here. So this is the rectangle brush, right? If you use it, you see how it stays in that shape. So you can create big shapes like that, and then I might fill it in white. So let's have a go with that, shall we? Let me zoom out for this. Undo. So let's get big. Skyscraper shape like that. Another one like that. Oops, nope, that's not what we want. That. Like there's a roof there. And then I'll go in with, if I turn off the perspective ruler, then I can do little stuff like this to add some extra little bits sticking out to separate it, to make it look like there's, you know, windows sticking out or something like that. So that you see when you zoom out, it looks more like the shape of a building, which is pretty cool. So adding some more shapes. So I'm going to do a couple of layers of this. This is to make, over here, this is to make it feel like it's a chimney. That, that's it. Building there. That there. Actually, let's make that a bit taller so it doesn't go into that shape that we created before. So now let's turn this off. Let's add some extra details with the lasso fill. So this is just to make these background shapes pop a bit more. And I could go really crazy. I could give that background one here some brick texture. Actually, it looks pretty cool, so I'm gonna take the time to do that. This is all subtle stuff you don't really notice, but I just think it looks cool. And I love doing these, just the silhouettes of buildings in the background. I do it a lot in my art, and when a colorist does like a fade on it, I think it looks really neat. Really neat. The dog is barking because she's looking out the window. Someone's walking down my road. So now look, we got some textured building in the background. This is just that nice blend of straight lines and organic lines to create what looks like a building. I know some inkers like Jonathan Glapion, they don't use any rulers at all when they ink. Props to them, but I'm not that brave. Let's add some brick to this chimney here to show it's a brick chimney. This is all very easy stuff you guys can do. Like, this is pretty basic drawing stuff. That's, I think, looks cool. go. Adding a triangle to the edges to some of these. Too much, don't like that. And then maybe we'll add another water tower up here. Turn the perspective ruler back on. And even though this wouldn't really make sense, I'm just going to... You wouldn't really be able to see this because of the underside of the water tower, but... that little extra bit of texture in there really make this thing pop. There we go, we've got a water tower there now. And some water towers do have little pipes sticking out, so I'll keep a little pipe there. Just add a bit more. Pipe, and we'll take some of this shape out here. And since we got a clothesline here, let's add, see how it looks. Add some cables. We'll chuck in some clothes. A pair of jeans here. T-shirt. I don't even know if people still do this in the city. But yeah, let's not add another t-shirt because that would be too much. Let's add a sleeveless. Long sleeve shirt. Pipe. No, I don't like that pipe. I could add a little cat. That might be fun. No, that's too much. Turn the perspective ruler back on. A few more squares. And in the... So these are just regular buildings like in the alley that they're in. The buildings in the back behind this are going to be skyscrapers, so they have antennas sticking out of them and stuff like that, so they'll have a bit of a different look to them. Let's add in the corner to this building here. And we'll just a corner over here as well. Okay, that should be good. Selection color gamut, black. Shrink down to, let's say, a 2. Let's see how a 2 looks. Yeah, I think a 2 looks pretty good. Excuse me, dog. Just trying to sneak up and snuggle at the top with me. Let me check the comments just in case there's any comments. Don't know if anybody's watching this part. 2 watching. No comments. Cool. Oh, there was another thing I wanted to add to this. So let me click undo. So it'll make my life easier. I'm going to take a white, and I'm going to take the square. Actually, there's an even easier way to do this. Alright, let's do this on a separate layer. So I'm going to take a separate layer with the white. I'm going to take a brush. About 40. What are you doing? You alright? What? Have a bath? Good idea. So right now what I'm doing is I'm making windows, and I'll show you how I'm going to do that. I'm going to just put a line down like this, and then put some black over it. Oh, why can't I get this window shape right? It's fine, a little bit more. So now we got the basic shape of window there, and then we're going to take a smaller... I love working in this way, it's really fun. We're going to put a window slit through. And then we're going to add the tiniest little bump to signify the lock on the windows. Got some window locks there. Okay, that looks good. And then what I'm going to add some more. Let's add some windows over here. Bigger brush to separate the windows. Smaller brush to separate the layer. Actually, that needs to be a bigger brush because it's a level, isn't it? Let's make it a bit bigger. Nope, too big. This is going to be a factory type building, so they have... What's the factory window setting? Is it this? And that? Yeah, that looks good. And then the last one we have to do is this building here. Got that in there. Oh, we'll have to do some windows down here as well. Okay. Do. So let's separate these. Bigger brush. Boom. Window. Boom. Ooh. Window. And you know, you can do this to do regular buildings as well, and then you know what I do with when I shrink it and then make it a line, like I'll do in a minute, and then you can just add detail afterwards. It does super speed up the process of getting this type of stuff done quickly. And these windows here, these windows may be removed because it may be too much detail, but we'll have a look in a second. These windows, and what pattern do I want to give them? Do I want to give them the classic window like this, or should I leave them open? That's too much. That's fine. Okay, so let's combine these layers. So now they are one layer. Let's selection, color gamut, black, shrink by 2. Fill with white, and now you suddenly have a more detailed silhouetted background, windows, everything like that. And I don't think I think actually this is done. I don't know if it needs, let's add a white layer behind everything. And then let's erase these overlapping windows here. I think that's done. I could add some in the background. I'm gonna just add some in the background. If it doesn't work out, it doesn't work out, but we might as well have a look to see how it would go. Yeah, I like that. It just makes it a slightly bit more of a populated looking city. And then let's get a loose brush, a hairpin sable, and we're going to add some antennas. That's too high. The antenna looks bad here. I don't think this building needs antennas at all, actually. In fact, all those antennas look bad. I don't think I need more. Let me just click on do then. I think they could just be big square blocks. Selection, color gamut. And now, instead of shrinking this to a 2, I'm going to shrink it to a 1 to show that it's even further in the distance. Like that. And that just populates it a bit more. Looking at it, I could add even more. Like I could add windows. Does it need windows though? I don't think it actually needs windows. I think I'm going to step away. You got to learn to step away. You don't want to overdo the image itself. So this is looking pretty dope to me. Let's click save. And I wish this was it. I wish I was done now, but I'm not. I'm going to add the final links, and I'm going to really try on these final links to not go over the top with line weights. I want the line weights to stay thin. Because I found recently, I've looked at some of my art, and some of these, this stage looks great here, but then once I get to the next stage, everything starts to look a bit muddy because I went too thick. So I'm just going to play off of the shapes I already have. And get cracking on these thin to thicks. And separating shapes just like we did before. Mostly when lines meet, that's when I pull the thins into thicks. So like you see, like this is where the ink would bleed if you were doing it traditionally. All the ink there would just smush into each other. Thinning up that line because I thought it was a bit too thick. Might make this a solid black. And what I do when I fill here, I'm clicking onto, you see how I'm switching here, click on refer to other layers. This way, whatever new shapes you make, it will just fill in black. So you don't have to go to that specific layer, draw a line to fill it in. You can just do it whether you want. What do I want this to be? Should I just go for it like that? Yeah, that's fine. That makes it pop a bit more. And it's going to be blue. Leo's is, I guess, a bit of a darker colour than everyone else's. Add a thick line underneath his mask there to show, not the whole way around, but just to show in certain spots that it's sticking out over his face. Do the same for under his eyes. Oh my god, Luna, would you stop moving? I'm trying to ink over here. Word of advice, if you become a comic book artist, don't get a little dog, because they will want to sit on you always. Another reason I think is I don't work traditionally because I have a small dog. So a thicker line for under the top lip. And the key here is not to ink over the line, but ink next to it. If you ink over the line, then you're messing up the initial shape you drew. You're just adding a bit of shade underneath whatever lines you've created. So I'm keeping these nice and thin, these final inks. Don't want to get muddy. Don't want to look super cartoony. I think I might just add some shark teeth rendering there, to show that his head goes into shadow. No, that's too much. Takes away from the cut underneath his neck. This is probably one of the best processes of the best stage of this process. So everything is pretty much done now. You're just adding. This is the fun stuff. This is the McFarlane noodling stage. You just get to add all the line weights. The heavy lifting's done. I would say the hardest stage is the stage that we just did. The pencil stage. Actually, I would say the pencil stage could be the most fun. This is more of the home stretch stage, like, you know, nearly there. Nearly done. Adding a few extra wrinkles because I feel like the turtles, they don't moisturize. Now I do not want to make super thick inks on the wrappings because I want them to blend a bit, so I'm going thin here. and then thicken certain spots like here to show it's wrapping over something. This is his elbow here, and usually I would make that a lot thicker, but since it's over a wrapping, I'm not. Making that a thick one. Obviously the line under his arm is going to be thicker to show it's further away from light. The reason I break down my art like this is just so I can concentrate on each stage of the art at one time. Like if I just went straight from pencil, if I did type pencils and went straight to this, with type pencils I can't focus on creating shapes and line weight at the same time. I like to break those stages up so I can focus on them each individually to do them the best I possibly can. Switching to the brush with less stabilization so it's easier to wiggle. To add some slight thin to thicks on these little lines we made. In fact, I might keep this on for a bit. Nope, switching back already. I lied. See there, I clicked undo because I drew the ink over the line instead of next to it. have to do his nail here. Oh wait, that's not right. Let's grab that free transform. I think it's gonna be like that, right? Yep. The knuckle. If this does get used, I'd love to see it in colour. I've been actually tempted to colour it myself. But the colorist on Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles is awesome, so leave it up to them to do it. Alright, click save and check, see if there's been any comments. Oh, there's been lots of comments. Oh, guys, sorry, I missed all of these. Good afternoon. Hello, Cobra. Looks great. Thanks. I really like how you can create awesome figures and expressions with a small amount of detail. Looks good. Oh, thank you very much. Hey, man, great work. Are you Australian? No, I'm not. I'm English, but I lived in America, so I think I have half an English accent and half an American accent, so it does come out Australian. So, g'day. It's awesome how thickening the lines really changes the look. It really pops up the drawing. Wish I could draw like that. I'm a big fan of comic art and drawing in general. Well, have a go. You could try it out. What TMNT collaboration would you like to see? I'd like to see me collaborating on anything Turtles. That's what I'd like to see. With other superheroes or so, I think... Oh, I see what you're saying. A Hellboy one. Kind of an underground paranormal thing would be awesome. I want to read their team up with Batman so bad. I haven't got it just yet. The Batman team up is excellent. The first trade was really good, and I'm reading the second trade right now, and it is shockingly better than what you expect. I highly recommend that. I would like to see the Turtles team up with Daredevil, because I want to see Foot Clan versus the Hand. Hand versus Foot. How's your creator-owned comic going? It's going great. I have it right here. This is the first page that I've been working on, so I've got these pencils done for it, and I'll slowly be inking it up. I've written the first issue. You see I'm playing with a 3D model up here. I've written the first issue, and it will be done when it will be done. I'm just taking it slow. Who's my favourite turtle? When as a kid, it was Leonardo. My brother's was Raphael. I always liked to be Leo because I just like samurai swords. But as an adult, I've grown very fond of Mikey. So, sorry that I missed all your comments. Please feel free to comment again now. And I will, next time I get to look, I will answer them. They should be popping up. But they're not, sadly. But yeah, the thin to thicks do make stuff pop. It's the line weights are the game changer. Like, sure, I could leave the whole piece the way it is now, and you could still color it, and it would look pretty good. It would look like very much like a cartoon, with everything just separated with one single thin line and one single thick line. But these thin to thicks, this is what makes it a comic book to me. Makes it juicy. Oh, you see, I drew over the line there, and that's why that doesn't work. Draw next to the line. There we go. Does anyone understand what I say when I say that? Like, draw next to the line. Also a Daredevil, yeah, it would be. Raphael. I get it. My brother loves Raphael. I'm not a huge fan of him. I think he's a hothead. But he's like the Wolverine of the group, I guess. Mikey's just not my favourite, because he's all about having pizza, playing video games, skateboarding. I don't think he really cares about all the other stuff going on. I think he just wants everyone to be happy and have a good time. And that's how I feel. I try and avoid news and things and stuff that depresses me, because I just want to be happy and have a good time. So, definitely a Mikey guy. Okie doke. I might add some shark teeth along the bottom of his suit here. My tablet keeps freezing where I can't turn the page for a little while. But let's pop down here. How big is a 6? 6 is pretty big. 4. These are called shark teeth. Well, the shark teeth are the sharper ones. These are just a single. This is to add a little sense of grey against something of a thick line. I used to do this way too much. This is something Art Adams does on his stuff. But the person I like who does it is J. Scott Campbell. I think he does a really good job with the little teeth. It's something you don't really notice, but it's there and it adds a little extra level of depth. Just make sure that when you put these lines down, they're following. They're there for a reason. Don't just chuck them all over the place. And make sure that they are following the shape. You see, like that, following the shape of his elbow. Because we're trying to draw in 3 dimensions. Yep. So Leo's pretty much done. I might add a bit more. I said I wanted to go thinner, but I'm slowly getting thicker and thicker. That's fine. Actually, it's good to zoom out as well, because then you can see the little spots that you think need a bit more width. Okie doke. Raph, my boy, you're up next. I'm so happy I'm able to be on the stream today. I've been seeing you going live, but rushing to school, I haven't got the chance. Well, I'm glad you finally caught one. It's nice to stream. Streaming's good because it keeps me constantly working. I can't get distracted and look at my phone. I can't, have a smoke break. I can't do anything. I have to sit here and I have to draw. So it's good. It gets my work done. I wish I could just constantly stream my whole day, because then I think I would get a lot of work done. But then again, at the same time, I think I do move a bit slower during these streams, because I'm explaining things and talking my way through. But I think that's kind of a good thing, to slow down a bit sometimes, to really keep a fresh eye on things. So I'm just going back in here and I'm adding a bit of extra shape to his mask to make the wrinkles pop a bit more. Oh, my dog keeps farting and it stinks. She's the worst, guys. She's farting because I put her on new food this week. and it's not agreeing with the... See, I want to keep that line thin. In fact, I want a thinner... line than what I've given. There we go, that's better. Now, what's going on with his eyes here? He looks a bit derpy when I zoom in. Something's wrong here. Is that better? See, I have Raph like not looking at any of them. He's looking all annoyed at life. He's like, we should be out fighting, not having a pizza party, guys. There's villains to fight. And then Mikey would be like, yeah, bro, but there's pizza to eat. Every hero needs a day off. This is like the shawarma scene in Avengers. Scrunch up his brow a bit more. No, that's made him look old. Looks bad. This ain't old man Raph. Teenage Senior Mutant Turtles. Teenage Senior Mutant Turtles. Heroes in a wheelchair. Senior power. Added some bit more neck muscle going on, making him look a bit more defined. I might add some more detail to his chest bit here, just so that it pops out a bit more. I don't know if you can hear that, but my dog is barking in her sleep, being super adorable. What do I want to add on this chest? Do I just want to go... Not too much? I don't think it's too much. No, I think that looks good. Let's break up some of those lines a bit. I think that adds a little extra oomph. I mean, they are turtles. These are like shelly type material, so I should maybe make it a line that's a bit wiggly. Yeah, the wiggly line actually looks pretty good. And we'll add some cracks, because he is a turtle. So I should have really done the wiggly line up here. It's okay, Bubba. It's okay. It's just a car alarm. So I'm going to add these a bit more wiggly. This adds a nice little bit of texture to the drawing as well. There you go. I like that. That looks pretty cool. What do you guys think? Do you like that? Well, tough, because I like it. I better go add that back onto Leo. Let me check the comments while this is frozen. Were there ever times when you were learning that you felt like you would never improve, or times you were overwhelmed by everything you didn't know how to draw? Yeah, all the time. I even get that today. It happens to the best of us, but the best thing is to just keep drawing through it, getting better, and just trying to get around it. Otherwise, you'll be stuck in that rut pretty much forever. There's a lot of distractions, but yeah, I think it's different to be going slow on stream, because as you explain things, you concentrate a bit more on the details, so it's better than going slow because you get distracted by the phone. It looks awesome. Cool. Awesome. Good to know. Right, let's go back and add the little squiggles to Raph then. Or to Leo, I should say. There we go. Squiggle lines. Here is with a squiggle line. Adding some line weights to these front poles a bit to break them up. Show that they are in front of Raph and in front of this brick here. So what would you say is better, to just keep practicing, take some class, or trying to copy some illustrators' work that you like? I would say that they're all equally beneficial. It's great to go out and study on your own. It's great, in your sketchpad, just constantly drawing. That's a great way where you'll just figure out stuff that works for you. Where you might read a book, not understand it, but if you just draw in your head, you might figure it out. Going to class is great because, or watching tutorial videos on YouTube, because you will pick up stuff that you go, oh, that's how you draw a face, or whatever like that. And copying your favorite artists, I highly recommend. A lot of people say don't do that, but I definitely say do that, because if you start copying them enough, you'll start picking up little things that they do that gets implemented into your work. So the real answer is all of the above. They're all good. a bit of metallic rendering. To his little blades there. Is that blade? I don't think it is now. And there's no real rhyme or reason to this. I usually do a thicker thin to thick on one side and then a thinner thick to thick on another side. And then when you zoom out, it looks a bit like metal, so. Or just a general shiny object. Come on, get comfy, girl. Quit your fidgeting. This is the part where I usually concentrate a lot. That's why I'm being quiet. Let me look in the chat. Nothing. No new comments. Here's a rule of thumb that I use. When in doubt, leave the fingernail out. If you can't see in your mind where that fingernail's supposed to be, it's probably best just to not draw a fingernail, because then you might just get the whole shape of the finger wrong. So happy this is getting done today. I've been waiting to see what this is would look like. Raf's inks are getting a bit thick, but his hand is in front of the railing and his body, so they need to pop out a bit more. What is that shape? There's a shape in here that shouldn't be there. What is this? What is that? Otherwise I'm gonna erase it. Oh, it's the bottom of the ladder. Oh. I gotta get rid of that because it just looks weird. Almost looks like he's got an extra bit there, so we'll cover that up. Adding a drop shadow here. That looks terrible. There we go. That's better. I really like the detail you put in the fingers that look great. Sorry, I think I've talked too much already. No, keep on talking. You're the only one that is chatting, so feel free to ask me anything. That's what I hit. This is why I do these streams. Like, it's good insight for people to see. They might be able to pick up some tips from what I'm doing, but also people ask questions and I happily answer them. So hopefully help their journey into being comic goddess easier. You see me zooming out a lot. That just helps with clearing up what needs to be thin and what needs to be thick. This is a step that takes a long time to get good at. If you look at my work on the standard, oh boy, there's some thick inks. It's hard to see. It's hard to know how thick should I go, how thin should I go. I mean, when I'm working, this file is 600 dpi. Which means that when I use my fine liner, I use a 1.5 or a 2 width, which is like using a 0.5 micron. Actually, it's a bit less than that. It's probably be like using a 0.2 micron. And then I add a very thin brush over the top, like a brush pen. I'm trying to make it feel as traditional as possible. Come on, screen. Man, my screen has really not been responding to my finger responses to twist it recently. I don't know why that is. I'm trying to zoom right now. There we go. Maybe it needs an update or something. This is too close. You're too close, man. Trying to twist. There we go. Zoom, zoom. There we go. I'm sorry I'm not too chatty during this bit. I'm just concentrating. Thing where I'm going too thick. Raph's getting a bit complicated. He's getting a bit muddy. I think I actually did some... Oh, maybe it's gone now. Oh no, I do have the flats here. I was doing some flats before. She looks jokes. Sometimes I chuck in some flats to see like how muddy I'm going, etc. Looks cool. I'm Raph. Let me take a break from doing people and just do a bit of background rendering. There's not much to do in the backgrounds, just want to separate some of these lines just a tad, but I mostly want to keep them the same that I already have. sometimes it's nice to go over with not a single width brush, with this thin to thick over some of these lines to make them look a bit more organic as well. Oh, looks like I left the pencils in. Where is it? Is it this? Yeah, here it is. Boop. Gone. Ooh, okay, let me click save. Check the comments. Ooh, lots of comments. Oh, geez. Okay. Let's see. So what would you consider is the hardest part of the body to draw? All-time pain are hands above them all. Hands used to be the hardest part for me. I still think that feet are pretty difficult, and just legs and trousers. I still struggle with them today. I find ways around it, but they're definitely still a real pain for me. How's it going, Chris? What are the titles I'm currently working on? I'm currently working on Spawn Kills Everyone 2 with Todd McFarlane. I'm working on a Marvel project which I can't talk about because I don't know if it's been announced that I'm on it, but it's just a little 4-page thing for an annual. I'm doing covers for Big Trouble in Little China, and I'm doing this Turtles cover here, and then a few other things down the pipeline that haven't really been established yet. No, you're not misspeaking at all. You sound good. Thanks, man. Yeah, hands are tough. It looks like you guys have a nice little chat. Glad this is a place where people of like minds can get together and have a chat. If anybody caught my stream earlier, I was talking all about how I landed the Todd McFarlane gig, which was obviously very exciting to land. Right, I'm kind of bored of doing RAF. It's taken so long, and I've been making his inks slightly too thick. I don't like how thick he's looking. He's looking too cartoony, which I know sounds nuts for me to say with my art style, but it's true. So I'm just thinning up some of these lines here. Like this, down here. What is this? It's way too thick. That's better. That is better. I'm sick of doing RAF, but I'll keep working on him so that he gets done quickly. Got real thin on these interior details. Might add some wrinkles wrinkles on the knuckles don't look good. That's the great thing about digital, you can just constantly experiment. There's no right or wrong. You can always click undo, and if you work on separate layers, you should be good to go. So I filled those in black because I didn't know if I was going to keep the underside of their bandanas clear so that the colors can just make them darker. But the more I looked at it, I needed something that was a bit more solid black, because the first thing your eye is going to be drawn to when you look at something is either someone's face, because you immediately want to emote with something, and just a piece of black and white art. If you zoom out, the black is going to pop. So right now you're looking at, I would say that is the focal point right now. That's why I don't like to make my backgrounds completely black, because then I feel like that's the first thing you look at is all the black in the background. It's crazy how you can control someone's eye, like where they look, just by colors or shade. I actually just switched my hairpin sable brush to a 45 and it feels comfy. It's smooth, it's not too slow. This feels more like how I worked on my computer, because I'm working right now on an iPad Pro. Yeah, maybe I've found the sweet spot. think I have found the sweet spot. Because before, I could bust it out this stage fairly quickly without the lines looking bad. And I feel like I've slowed down recently, but maybe it was the stabilization slowing me down, because this is going real quick. And it's producing the lines that my brain is expecting, which is good. Because when I actually work traditionally, like if I'm doing a commission or something, I work really slowly because I'm trying to make the lines as perfect as possible. I don't have the luxury of clicking undo like I do here. Yep, I'm liking that. Alright, we save and check the comments. How did you get where you are? What did you study? One of my lifetime dreams is to draw for DC and have my own comic series. I'm just going to read all the comments and then I'll answer them whilst I'm drawing. I think that makes most sense. Is getting line thickness right just practice? I feel like digital, it's hard to get a frame of reference. Should I be zooming out constantly? I've tried digital drawing like 2 times. I can't get used to it. I'm just layered. Okay, so the first question, let me recap, is what did I study? How did I get where I am? You want to work for DC. And then the second question is line thickness. So line thickness definitely comes with practice. It's very hard to tell. A good rule of thumb I would use is, if you're working digitally, go on Google. So go on Google. Come on, Google. Come on. Go on Google. You search, let's see, McFarlane inks, images. So, and you got to be careful because some of these aren't McFarlane's inks. Some of them are done on the wrong things. So that's just Capullo. That's definitely McFarlane. So what you would do is you would take this image, right? And the best thing actually would be to get like an actual page, like 11 by 17 page. So that looks like 11 by 17 page. So in this case, on an iPad, I would take a snapshot, cut it down, copy. Let's go back to what we were working on. And then I would make a new 11 by 17 page. I already have one set up like this. It's actually 6.88 by 1044. That's the official size that I draw every comic at. So make a 6.88 by 10.44. And then let's paste this image in here. And let's stretch it up to where you think it would be on an actual page. Let's say it's around there. And this gives you a general... Oh man, I wish I inked this. Look at these beautiful... Oh, look at all those lovely inks. I wish I was that good. So with this is a good gauge for you to now just... If you, let's say, take the color... Oh, why is this... Oh, I see. Take the color, bring the color back, get in there with a loose feeling brush, and then get my bearings down, and then start inking and feeling out how thick these inks are here. So this is, I should be working a bit thinner than what it's suggested. It's a good gauge for you to just, I mean, McFarlane's not the best example because, I mean, this is all nuts. Like, trying on my stuff, you might have a better go, but you'll soon feel like, oh, well, this is this thick and this is this thin. And you get a good gauge. That's how I actually did it for panels as well, like the thickness of my panels. I use a 0.10 because I saw another artist do it. And in terms of studying and how excuse me, I'm gonna yawn. Yawn. I'm still streaming. In terms of what I studied, what I did was when I graduated university, I decided I wanted to be a comic book artist. So I looked at a book called Figure Drawing Design and Invention by Michael Hampton. Fantastic book. Best possible book personally for me on how to draw. I learned so much. And what I did was, instead of just reading it once and being done with it, or just, some people don't even read it. Some people just are like, I need to know how to draw heads, and they skip to the head section and they do a couple doodles and they're like, alright, no, well, I've studied that, you know. No, what I did was I was like, right, I'm not going to move on from any chapter until I can draw that chapter from memory. So figure drawing, like shoulders anatomy, chest anatomy, I didn't stop doing it until I thought I had a basic grasp on it, enough where I could, if I wanted to draw it myself, I could. And that's how I did it. I didn't move on until that chapter was done. Because a lot of people just move on and they don't actually learn anything from what they've tried to do, which is not good. And that really helped. First I had a basic understanding of how to put a figure together myself. I was really excited because I was finally drawing, you know, semi-improportionate anatomy from my own brain for the first time, instead of having to use reference all the time. And it was really exciting. And then slowly I studied, there's another book, Drawing Drapery from Head to Toe. I don't know who that's by. That book was amazing. It just lays out all the pressure points of clothes when the body moves. And you sort of go, oh, okay, that makes more sense. Like, you know, if you look here at this t-shirt, this is a pressure point. It's pinching here. So this is another point here, where the fabric is, and so is here and here. These are all points, and then this could be one as well. Yeah, I'm still streaming! And that was my fiance calling me Lester, that's our name. So, here is the point, so this is being pulled, like here. I mean, I could have gone more into, like, doing it like this, which actually, now looking at it, I probably should. And it would bunch up there, like there's all this stuff, and you just gotta know that all this stuff takes so much time for your brain to actually process it. Like, you'll just read it and it won't make any sense, and then like you'll read it again like 3 years later and you'll go, I get it now. It's weird that way. Like I was just saying on one of these streams I've done recently, I just recently was watching a TV show. I saw this man with a very defined neck muscles, and he was yelling, and I saw a certain muscle in his neck that I thought was behind a certain muscle, but it was in front of it, and I was like, oh, I thought that muscle was behind. And then I went back and I looked at my anatomy books. I was like, oh, look, this whole time it said it's in front. It's hard to process it. It does take a long time for your brain to understand. Like, drawing it's complex. You're trying to draw in 3 dimensions on a 2D surface. It's not easy. That's why it's so satisfying when you actually make those little strides in your work, where you have little breakthroughs in your art, where you're like, oh man, I can draw I think one of my earliest memories of a breakthrough was I was constantly drawing Capullo Batman, because that was the book that inspired me to break into comics. This run on Batman. I was constantly drawing it over and over again. I was like, I just can't draw the eyes. And then, you just keep drawing the same face over and over again that I'm looking at. And just this one time, I don't know what I did, but I decided to, instead of drawing, I think I was drawing eyes, like I was doing the under bit. And then I was like going over, and I was like, why does this look so weird? I can't draw an eye. And then suddenly I went like this way instead with the brush, and like that, and I did this, and I was like, oh my god, it's a Greg Capullo eye. And it freaked me out. I was like, oh wow, this is awesome. And then you just gotta you have to get through all of the crap of you drawing. Like, you have to do all the bad drawings before you get to the good drawing. Just stick to it. Stick to it. It's like losing weight. Just diet and exercise constantly, and you will lose weight. Keep drawing and studying, and you will get better. There's no way you can't. And I used to always be like, every time you pick up that pencil, you're gonna be one step closer to your goals. Like little lame stuff like that to keep yourself motivated. So look in the comment section. The stream froze? Is it still frozen? No, I don't think it is frozen. I think it's still good. How did I get into Marvel Comics? There's a podcast that I am on called Spider-Man the Animated Series Podcast, and I am currently going super in-depth about my whole process of drawing and how I learned it, and how I got into Marvel and all that stuff. But briefly, Marvel was at a comic convention in London, so I put a portfolio together, and I went to that convention. I handed in my portfolio. I got a call back to meet with C.B. Cebulski, who at the time was not editor-in-chief of Marvel, but he is now, which is pretty cool. He was just a talent. He traveled the world trying to find talented people to work for Marvel Comics. Met with him. He said some nice stuff about my artwork. He said, here's my email. Please email me on Wednesday, no earlier. And I'll get you in touch with Ricky Purden, who's the talent manager at Marvel. And he'll send you some samples, and you can go from there. So that's what I did. I waited till the Wednesday. I was so excited. I emailed him, and luckily, I even waited till it was like his time in New York where they would be in the offices. Emailed, got a response back very quickly, which was nice, because I know these guys are always super busy. He said, here's Ricky Purden. Ricky said, hello, here's a Spider-Gwen sample script. Have at it. And what I did purposely was, I busted that script out as quick as I could. I wanted to show that company that they can rely on me to get stuff done. Like, I'm not gonna say, hey, is it alright if I take like 3 weeks to draw this because of, I gotta look after my kids, or all that stuff. Again, that plays into me before about excuses. Like, I made sure my schedule was free, and I made sure that I was going to spend the next week solely working on that. I did. I worked my arse off. I handed it in. They even commented on, wow, that was faster than what we usually get, so that was great. And they said, we'll be, keep in touch. And then randomly I got an email from a Marvel editor, because they put my samples on file there. And this one editor, he gave me a chance to work on Star-Lord, which I was so excited about, and my whole career has taken off ever since then. So thank you very much, Star-Lord editors. I'd love to go back and work on Starwood again at some point. Just been making sure that everything I draw is another great piece in my portfolio to use to get more work. Even though I've been working constantly in the business for the past nearly 2 years now, I'm still freelance. There's still the unknown of, will there be one day where no one has a gig for me? And that's scary. That scares the hell out of me. So I'm just trying to produce the best work, try and get as much work out there as possible, as fast as possible in the best way I can, so that people, I've never missed a deadline. I've been late for an initial deadline plenty of times, more so than often, but I've never missed the cut-off date of this needs to go to print today, otherwise we're going to get fines on the book. I've never missed that. I've always got the book in on time. I may have caused some colorists some headaches, but I never messed up too bad. It really is all about deadlines. Like, there's millions of comic artists much better than me, and that goes for everybody that draws in comics. There's always someone that's better than you. But it's your work determination, your drive, your passion, your drive, how you handle yourself professionally. Are you easy to work with? Do you not need too much hand-holding when it comes to laying out pages, scripts, and all that? And can you get it done? Can you get the work done? I'm a guy that I can bust out pencils quickly. You can guarantee we're not going to go in the red on the deadline. Maybe a little late, ain't gonna lie. I mean, for Christ's sakes, like this Turtles cover here that's been on my table for a year. These things happen. But this isn't needing to go to print, this is a stowaway. But if you want an in-depth of the long story of me breaking in, studying, my past as well, I think we talk about my childhood a bit, because it's me and my brother chatting, then check out Spider-Man the Animated Series podcast, or Spider-Man TAS podcast, on iTunes and SoundCloud, and there you just look for Will's War Crawl to Marvel, I think it's called. Yeah, in fact, you can even look on my channel, and there'll be a live stream on my channel of me chatting about it, which is the part 2. Oh, my butt's getting sore from sitting down. You nearly done, Raph? Come on. Taking so long. Raph's taking so long because he's proper full body. Right, save that. Oh, my butt hurts. My butt hurts from sitting. Still got your Great Lakes floppies, man. I'm gonna have to go back and get your Star-Lord. Awesome, yeah, Star-Lord, that's the first ever Marvel book I did. I can't remember what issue, but if you just search my name with Star-Lord, you'll see. Nope, it's not impossible to do. It's definitely not impossible to break into comics. I am living proof. Beefcake, beefcake. Follow your dreams. So Raph's inks are pretty thick, but I think they needed to be just so that he is definitely in the foreground more than everyone else. Sody Pops. Mikey, Donatello, and then we're pretty much done because there's not really any rendering to do on the background. There's a little bit to do, but not to the extreme of the turtles themselves. Pizza. What does your process look like from getting the script to start? Well, a lot of people in the business, they do layouts, and I don't really do layouts. Like, honestly, like, this is my layouts. I skip the layout stage and I go straight into penciling. See these different layers here, because I think I just have a good sense in my mind what the shot is that I want to be. So, you know, you see the rough lines over the face there, and I've been drawing for a while now, so some stuff I can just draw from my imagination. Like, you know, people like Kim Jong Il he is amazing, the artist. Kim Jong G. I always, this is so bad, but I always get mixed up the horrible dictator with the amazing artist. I think it's Kim Jong-ji, right? That's his name? Because Kim Jong-un is the bad guy. Yeah. Wow. Shows how much I pay attention to the news. So, yeah, he draws a lot from his imagination. But I have little render lines you can see all there, and the hands are pretty rough. And I can keep it pretty rough because, like you see with the stage I had with laying out the turtles. It was my brain's going blank. There's a lot of heavy lifting done in that line weight stage because it's figuring out the shapes and creating them. So I send off the pencils, and then they get approved. Sometimes I have to fix some things. Like I get something wrong, like I posted on Twitter the other day an image of Ghost Rider that I had to change because I drew the wrong Ghost Rider. I was supposed to draw Cosmic Ghost Rider, not the current Ghost Rider, so I had to fix that. That happens. We all make mistakes. The worst is when you make mistakes that you have to change the whole page with, like when I was working on Secret Warriors. There's so many characters in that book, and I misread what character I was supposed to draw. I thought I was supposed to draw a little boy. So this whole page I drew of a little boy, and then they were like, that's the wrong character. It's supposed to be this mid-20s girl character, and I was like, oh. Apparently I have to go bring my fiancée a towel in a minute because she forgot one. Yeah, that's fine. That's fine. But it happens, yeah. You make mistakes. And then I wait for the confirmation. If it says looks good, we'll fix this or whatever, then I do the fixing. And then I go to the line weights. I go to the line art stage, and then I go to the line weight stage. Hand that sucker in. Wait for approvals and stuff. It keeps going like that. When I started out doing the Spawn book, there was a lot of corrections to be made because I hadn't spent enough time properly getting the look down of Spawn that McFarlane wanted, and I still feel like I haven't got it down yet. But he seems pretty happy with what I'm doing. So there was a lot of fixing heads and capes but my God, that guy, like, he doesn't just tell you to fix stuff for the hell of it. He's great because he's like, change this about the cape. Like, I did this one thing where I drew the color of Spawn's cape in a certain way. He's like, don't draw it that way because that just looks like the same floopy material that's at the bottom of his cape. Like, make it stiff and stick out because it separates the two as a piece that makes an actual cowl. And I was like, oh, this is really, like, he gives very constructive criticism that is, like, stuff you can take home to the bank where you're like, wow, that's changed a lot about my art, just saying that, so that's good. One second, guys, I just got to bring my fiancée a towel. Alright, sorry about that. Kim Jong-ji, yeah. So do you get a written script of the story or just the dialogues? How's the script like? Yeah, I'm working with Todd on a Spawn book. It was just announced last night, actually. If you look at any of my social media, I've blasted it all over there. But the scripts, they're full scripts, you know, panel 1, page 1, yada yada yada, description, dialogue. I play mostly off of the dialogue rather than the description, because some writers, they say, like, oh, wide shot establishing and all of this stuff, but it's not really their decision to make that choice, and I'm not telling them what the words to put in their characters' mouths, or how they act and everything. It's my choice to choose the best panel, I think, or shot for said scene. So I pretty much just do my own thing when it comes to that. Sometimes I follow through because the ideas they've given are the best idea for that shot, where I go, yep, that's exactly what I was thinking. But a lot of times I just switch it up myself, and there never seems to be a complaint. It's not like I'm changing the entire script completely, or I'm being snotty, where I'm like, ugh, these writers, they don't know how to lay out a panel or anything like that. No, it's nothing like that. I think it's just a mutual agreement and understanding. I do my job, you do yours. But with McFarlane, it's Marvel method, so it's just loose descriptions of what is on each page, which can be daunting but also super fun at the same time. Man, this cover is taking longer than... I didn't think it was going to take up my whole day today. I really need to get this done, because I got to take this little doggo for a walk. Oops, I just said that word by accident. Don't listen. Oh, she doesn't understand the word no, or leave it. But she definitely understands the WALK word. So you'll receive which scene comes in which number of panel and the description of the scenery. Yeah, that's the standard script. You can Google standard comic book scripts. You can read scripts from Frank Miller. If you buy DC's director's cut comics, they're great for getting an insight into the comic book world, because you can see, like the Batman ones, you can see Scott Snyder's script, you can see Capullo's, I don't know if they show his layouts too much, but you see his pencils. It's a cool way of doing it. And then also McFarlane's doing this interesting thing with he just announced Spawn and Witchblade. And with your phone, you can like put your phone over the comic, and it makes it augment reality, kind of like Pokemon Go. And you can flip through all the stages. You can see the script, then you can see the layouts, then you could see the roughs, pencils, inks, and then color. And then letters, you can see all of them in a stage, and I think that's awesome. I'm hoping that's the future of all comics, is to be able to do that with any book, because it's, for an artist, seeing the pencils is amazing. You get to see, when you look at stuff like this, you can see all of the little lines I've put everywhere. You get to see behind the scenes of what the artist is thinking about putting together that piece of art. It's awesome. I love it. I love it. Excuse me, I just burped. I don't know if you heard that. My dog is staring at me because this is usually the time of the day when I take her for a WALK. I'm not going to put as many squiggly lines on this bit because I don't want it to take up too much of the piece. I'm kind of regretting all those little lines I put on Raph, but it doesn't matter. I know, Bubba, I know you want to go out. I know. I'm sorry, but I have to draw. Alright, see you, Chris. My fiance is listening to the Spice Girls in the bathroom, which is hilarious. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. I need to hear stuff like that. Hi, Alan. How's it going? Keep telling me it looks good so that I can convince myself it does as well. Because I definitely see, even though I've been working for a couple of years in the business, getting to work with McFarlane, getting to work on Spider-Man, Deadpool, and all this amazing stuff, I still am super self-conscious about my art. And I have self-doubt constantly. Where sometimes I feel good, and then I see what some people are doing with their artwork, and I'm just like, oh God, why do I suck so much? Thank you. Come on, let's get this drawing done, shall we? I don't want to rush though, because if I start rushing, then the inks will look bad. Cheese on the pizza slice, you like that? That's me drawing chewing gum, but it looks like cheese. I'm not a big fan of Marvel, I'm more of a DC fan, but one thing I would love to work on for is Marvel is Deadpool. Yeah, well, Deadpool's awesome. I was so happy to work on him, and I really hope that I get to work on him again in the future. I've done a ton of Deadpool covers, or covers featuring Deadpool as well. I've done at least 6 Deadpool covers, but they've yet to let me touch the main series. But if they gave me Deadpool to work on as my main gig, I'd happily have a run on that for years, because it'd just be so much fun. That might pick up on the stream and I might get copyright infringement. They're like, Biggie Smalls has copyright claim against you.
You're not that famous yet.
You don't have to be famous to get copyright claim against you on YouTube. It happens like that. You don't get famous yet. I know, Bubba. We'll go out in a bit. I gotta finish these inks up. Look at her. She's so ready to go out on a walk.
Why would you say that?
On a WALK. Sorry, I'm just talking about my dog. Drawing Batman for DC and Deadpool for Marvel one day would be heaven for me. Yeah, I would love to tackle anything. I've been in contact with DC. They just want me to contact them when my schedule's completely free. Because if they are going to use me, they'd want me to be on something that would take up my time, not something little. So that's pretty exciting. That's another blind email that I did. Just emailing DC. I would love to work for DC. I really love the Bat family a lot. I'd love to work on Robin. I'd love to work on Batman itself, though I don't know how well my art style would work on that, but a Joker book would be awesome. Harley Quinn would be awesome. I just need to make sure I have the time to actually do it. I don't think they really like their artists working on other stuff. What was that?
She tried to take my bath towel out of the bathroom.
I'm trying to do a professional live stream here. Okay.
It's not my fault the dog took my towel. She took this.
Luna. No. Not a plaything. She just turned 1 year old and she is definitely a teenager. All she wants to do is steal stuff. She goes, "Oh, is this your towel? This is my towel now." Yeah, Harley Quinn would be really cool for my art style, I think. You back? I thought you were gone for good. The Blueprint interview and following was the reason I decided to pursue comic work. He's seriously inspiration. Oh yeah, that's really good. I can't find that Blueprint interview anymore. Hey, could you turn down that music?
Yeah, I'm going downstairs.
Thank you. Yeah, Harley Quinn would be awesome. I really think I think I'd rock a Teen Titans book as well. I feel like that would be really cool for my art style. I saw that John Boy Mayers has been killing it on Teen Titans. A lot of people say our artwork is similar, even though he's 10 times better than I am. But we did work together on Royals. I think I got chosen for that gig because our artwork's similar. Okay, we're on the final turtle. Who, funny enough, was the final turtle we did line work on as well. It's the final turtle. Do-do-do-do. The mutant turtles now. Do-do-do-do. Mutant Turtles now, do. Do you know in England that Teenage Ninja Turtles are actually called Teenage Mutant Hero Turtles instead of Ninja? And the song will go, Teenage Mutant Hero Turtles. Isn't that blasphemy? I love being a turtle! Man, I used to watch that movie all the time as a kid. think I know in some parts they've changed the word ninja, but don't remember which countries. I don't know either. Another fun Turtles fact. You guys want some Turtles trivia? I was just watching a video on it the other day. The Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles saved Nintendo in European regions. Original Nintendo or the Famicom, was not selling well at all in England. People just weren't interested in buying it until they released a Nintendo packaged with the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles video game, and all the kids had to have it, and then it sold gangbusters. So if that didn't work out, then they would have pulled the system from the region. So this country would have never had it. Turtle trivia. Do you know that in Spain, Galactic was called Alberto the Hungry? No, I didn't know that. Yeah, it's a classic game. Turtles in Time is my favourite one. I've still never beat any of those games. I'd always get so close, but never got the cigar. And I love cigars. Nice. I'm jealous that you beat it. Donnie's a good one to play in those games because he's got a wide reach with his stick. If anybody's got any questions, feel free to ask. Otherwise, I'm going to awkwardly sit here in silence as I wrap this up. Don't worry, you don't have to keep asking me questions. Don't feel like it's a requirement. So once this is done, I'll send it off to the editor. Wait for approval. And once I get approval from the editor, I'll export this in a high quality file. And I will probably just email it to him. Usually I have to send stuff through an FTP, a file transferring program. I think that's what it stands for. Maybe. That's what I usually send all my Marvel stuff through, FTP. Image doesn't seem to have an FTP. Or at least McFarlane's Image doesn't. And then I'll have to fill out a pay slip, which is the most boringest part of the comic book job. But it's mandatory. And then I will sit by the front door until I receive a check to get paid. Because I got to get paid. Well, I don't have any questions, but I can say I'm really glad to have come to the stream. That today you've motivated so much to do this. Good. I'm glad. I'm glad that you're super motivated. Will you colour on another stream? No, I'm not going to be the colorist on this. I don't know who. If it goes to colours, I don't know who they'll hire to do that. How do you deal with the days where you just can't draw anything? Please ease my mind and say you don't have days like that. That even if it's a lie. I do have days like that. I of course have days like that. If you watched my stream yesterday, I was trying to ink this thing, and I was falling asleep, and I felt like crap. And the best thing is to just step away from it, take a break, play a video game, relax, calm down, cool down. Know that you can just make up the work later on that night if you need to be. Just take a break, walk away. Just walk away. That's the best thing you can do, because then you'll come back to it fresh. The amount of times I haven't done that, and I've just continued penciling a page. I have a page right now where I've done that for this Marvel thing, where I was having drawers blocked, but I just kept going anyway, and I always forget to tell myself, stop it. Stop what you're doing, because you are not helping yourself. You're going to just end up penciling a bad page and think you get that satisfaction of, oh, yes, I just finished the page of pencils. But no, you didn't. Because by the time it comes to ink, you're going to be like, these pencils are terrible and it's going to take ages to ink this. So just take a break, stop what you're doing, relax. Until you think, okay, I think I'm ready to go tackle it again. I think that advice can be good for many things in life. The worst, though, is when you have drawers block at a convention and you have commissions to do. That's when you're like, well, this is just the worst. I just have to work through it. But even then, at a commission, if I'm at a con and I get frustrated, because my fiance's usually there with me, she goes, go take a break, go outside, relax, and come back to it in like 20 minutes. It's best, like, you're worried, like, oh, but I'm against the clock. It's like, it's fine, just... It's going to take you longer if you keep trying to work it out now than if you just step back for a little bit. That's true. It works. Yep, it's definitely true. Oops, I think I forgot to do Leo's swords. Oh, I'm so close, and I just see little things I haven't finished inking yet. Did I take any classes in learning digital drawing? No, I did not. So just jumped into it and figured it out. I read a book, DC Comics Guide to Digitally Drawing Comics, which is the drawing method that I'm doing right now. But that's taught for Photoshop, and I work in Clip Studio Paint, but it pretty much applies over to the same thing. That book definitely helped a lot with the method of drawing that I use, because I know this is a strange method. Not, people usually just pencil and then they just ink. But me, I make it hard on myself. I'm not sure about this. I think I did too deep of a shadow under Donnie's eyes. Dare I say, I think we are pretty much done. Just taking a final look now, beefing up certain little spots. I'm gonna say this is a wrap on this one. Now I just gotta figure out where to put my signature. I guess I could put it on this I Love New York shirt. That might be a good spot. Where should this go? Cut, paste. Where's my cheeky little signature gonna go? That might be cut off by the page down there. Obviously don't want to put on any turtles. Will that get cut off there? Let's have a look, shall we? Yep, it does. So if I just moved it up to here. No, that doesn't fit. What about here? No, it definitely does not fit. Here. There we go. There's a nice little spot. Alright, dudes and dudettes. That's a wrap. There is a couple of little... I say there's a wrap, but then I'm like, oh, well... Yep, I'm going to consider that a wrap. So that's my Turtles cover right there. Thank you all so much for coming along on the journey of seeing this being completed. I don't know next time I'll be posting anything, but yeah, thank you very much for joining me. Thank you for everybody in the chat, chatting away, asking questions and stuff, and I'll see you